I'm just going to go ahead and delete this video and restart it from the beginning. Sorry about that. I just messed up. The sacred secretion. Is there a biblical basis for the belief that there is a substance that flows up the 33 vertebrae and into your pineal gland, mimicking and projecting and teaching a profound biblical lesson? I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. This is New Cosmic Knowledge presented to you by the MYSTECH movement. Get these bands. They will change your life. They changed my life. They changed Sandra's life. Go to jeffreydaugherty.com. Click on the MYSTECH logo. If you decide you want them, you get a 20% discount by ordering them through me. They will change your life. Absolutely. Last night, if you watched the epic Serpent and Dove program, Sandra D and I mean, we just had a great time. It was a great program, great news being put out, great information being put out, and we're just getting started. And Sandra asked me on that program if I would take a look at this idea of the sacred secretion and apply my 20 years of biblical experience as a full-time pastor and evangelist, apply my Bible college degree, and apply my now 37 years, much of it in the biblical text. So she asked me to do it. Hello to you, my love. And you can see how seriously I take her request, because here I am fulfilling it just a few hours later. I'll be leaving very soon for Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary, where I'm going to meet Rex Bear. And we're going to have a great time up there with a great overnight paranormal extravaganza. And we're going to bring you some fantastic broadcast excellence up there, on the way back. You never know what's going to happen at the NCK, New Cosmic Knowledge channel. So Sandra asked me to take a look at this subject. Sandra asked me to research this subject. Sandra asked me to do my due diligence. Grace, 19 months sober. Congratulations to you. Joelle says it sounds like an interesting topic. She loved watching Sandra's revelations last night. Me too. Welcome to my life. And yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. There was sound perfect from the beginning. I don't know what happened. You guys are crazy. Prashni, nice to see you. Hello to my love. Joelle, you're going to hear more about this. Here we go. Rock and roll. So I looked at the biblical evidence, and I'm going to give you one of the websites that probably does as good a job as anybody presenting this biblical evidence. Thank you, Jackie. And I'm going to go ahead and review it for you and give you my take as a biblical scholar on this, as somebody that spent 20 years, not this one, as somebody that spent 20 years, is this the one I want? Yeah, somebody that spent 20 years in the ministry, as someone that has a Bible college degree, and all of that stuff. So let's take a look at this and let's see the story, the belief of the biblical applications, and let's see if there really are biblical applications. They start off, and it's basically I've looked at many websites, and it's all really the same. It starts off with, it calls the pineal gland Joseph, secretes the milk, the pituitary Mary secretes the honey, and then the colostrum is Santa Claus. I don't know how Santa Claus got in here. I don't see any reindeer. I don't see any Rudolph. I don't see any sleighs or elves, but somehow Santa Claus made his appearance. The two sacred oils travel down the solar plexus, and then they go into the psychophysical germ called the fruit of life. And then they go into the solar plexus, which is the manger. And then the red and blue fluids cross the medulla oblongata in reference to the crucifixion, where it takes place and rests for 2.5 days. And then the sacred oil returns after the crucifixion, rising up the spine, the 33 vertebrae, until it enters the skull, which is Golgotha. And the fluid is Christ refined 1,000-fold. The temple of God is your body, not a building. We've been taught this information. It's been suppressed. This information has been suppressed because of how powerful it is. The Holy Land, they're drawing applications to the Holy Land. Here's the base of the spine. the Dead Sea, going up through the Jordan River to the place of the Most High, which is in the temple at Jerusalem. And that would be, of course, in your brain. And then they go on to give you some more applications. And I don't know about this person. He may be, totally smart and know exactly what he's doing. But as I go through this, and as I looked at it as a biblical scholar, I have to admit, and I didn't know anything about this before Sandra mentioned it to me. I had no interest in this before Sandra mentioned it to me. And I didn't have the slightest idea of what it was. But as I look at the presented biblical applications of what is being presented here and saying that it is in relation to this sacred secretion, all I can say is that I'm a little surprised that I can say 100% categorically, without a doubt, there is absolutely zero true correlation to any biblical scriptures. This is this is an example of somebody deciding what they believe and then going and searching for proof. That's not objective. That's not empirical. That's not research. And that is certainly not scholarly. You can't decide what you believe and then go look for reasons to believe it. Pull scriptures from here, pull scriptures from there, pull imagery from here, pull imagery from there, geography, biology. You just can't do that. It's bad scholarship. There's absolutely no true correlations between the teaching of the sacred secretion and the biblical record. None. Zero. Forget it. Get that con out of my face. And that doesn't bother me at all, because the Bible is 80% dung and 20% diamond. So it has absolutely no relevance to me that there's no correlations between the teaching of the sacred secretion and the biblical literature. In fact, it makes me feel a little better, ladies and gentlemen. This is a desperate attempt by people raised within a Western Judeo-Christian concept and culture for trying to smuggle something into the Bible and trying to smuggle the Bible into something. Ladies and gentlemen, there's no need for that. The Bible's 80% dung. Why do you want to smuggle it into something you believe is 100% true? You don't want to lie down with dogs or you're going to get up with fleas. And there's a lot of people that will reject. And there's a lot of thinking people that will say, you guys are, I was going to say a bad word, but Sophia might be listening, that you guys are not being smart. So there's absolutely no biblical correlation between the teaching of the sacred secretion and the ancient Hebrew or Greek biblical scriptures. That being said, I'm awaiting a sit down with Sandra D. and for her to go through, and it might be this website, for her to go through a breakdown of this rising of the Chrism, because even though there's zero biblical application, even though it's the most wishful of thinking and the most shoddy of scholarship, I believe that this sacred secretion might be a great hidden truth that could have transformative powers in our lives. It's part of Sandra and I's journey into the world of sacred sexuality, the world of sacred couplings, the world of sacred relationships. And if you need help, cousin, we're in the helping business, and business is a booming. Get in touch with us. Basically, and Sandra's the expert on this, I'm the student, and I'm going to sit down with her hopefully Sunday to go over this and something else as I'm recovering in Wartburg, Tennessee, home of Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary. Why do you name a place Wartburg? I mean, that's probably the last name. I mean, you could call it Fartburg. That would be worse because I hate that word. But Wartburg, really? I just don't get that. But there's a secret that it looks to me like it may have been hidden from mankind forever, and that there's still great lengths being taken to keep it hidden. The story of a journey of something inside our body each and every month. And once we allow this to happen to us, if we work with it and we work through it, we will have an explosion in awareness, an explosion in comprehension, and an increase in overall vitality and spiritual awareness. It's hidden from us by myth, allegory, metaphor, deception, and terrible scholarship trying to smuggle it in to a debunked document. Please just stop. Don't sully ancient esoteric truth. Don't sully ancient wisdom by trying to force it into the Bible, for Pete's sake. So real quickly, I'm just going to go through this. There's a thing in your brain called colostrum. Modern science hasn't really figured it out yet. And once a human child gets about 12, the colostrum produces an oil, very sacred oil. Now, in Greek, in the ancient Greeks, it was known as the Christos or the ichthus, because they said it was oily and had a fishy smell. So it is in the bottom of your spine. What starts off, it falls down. We went through that a little bit, and then it begins to rise up. And as it rises up, it makes this journey up your spine, up your vertebrae, and then it goes into your pineal gland, and it has a lot to do with natural DMT. And it sits in your hypothalamus for 2.5 days. And again, even these people, given good information, try to smuggle in bogus biblical doctrine. And then once it gets into your pineal gland and it sits for those 2.5 days, the sacred oil transmutes into what they're calling the substance of the Christ, the Master. I'm just going to say it's a transformative spiritual substance potentially, and it has great impact on your third eye. It explodes into 1,000 lights, pure consciousness, high enlightenment. The ancient Egyptians called it the light of the world. Many of these people were able to live for thousands of years by using this sacred oil transmutation into the power of life. And it follows along with your moon sign. And as Sandra is about to teach me, your moon sign, your sun is in your moon sign, or your moon's in your sun sign. I told you I don't know exactly what it is yet. But at any rate, in the Western astrology, I think it's when the moon's in your sun sign. And I'll get to the chat room, but I'm so focused. When the moon is in your sun sign, you abstain from sexual activity, even sacred sexuality. And I'm going to be just frank with you, ladies and gentlemen. I have just entered into my first and only sacred relationship that contains sacred sexuality. And it's amazing. So anything that tells me that, well, for a day before, the 2.5 days it's in there, and a day after, you shouldn't have sex. I'm like, wait a second. I spent 54 years searching for the beautiful gift of twin flame relationship and sacred sexuality, and you want me to give up 4 days a month? Brother, it's got to be good. And then, if you think like Sandra does, well, if it's good to do it while it's in your Western sun sign, what about when it's in your Vedic sun sign? Now we're talking maybe 8 days potentially. Every month. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not enthusiastic about that. I'm not excited about that. In fact, I'm quite the opposite. Abstain from sex during this time, it says. Even sacred sexuality. I've been waiting 55 years. And now you want me to abstain up to 8 days? Every month? 8 times 12. 8 times 2 is 16. That's 96 days a year. 100 days every year? Brother, I've been waiting too long to enter into this beautiful spirituality, sexuality, this incredible 100 days a year. Come on, man. However, I see within this the seed of great transformation. I see within this the seed of powerful alchemical transformation. I see within this the possible seed of something that will make you go, wow. So, Sandra and I are going to explore this. And there's got to be some way we can work about those 8 days every month. There's got to be some way to work on that. But if it is what it seems to be, and we'll let you know, then this is a powerful, transformational, transmutational, alchemical secret that we can leverage to do great things in our life. So we're going to explore it. We're going to look at it, and we will keep you posted as I go into the chat room. 19 months sober again. Grace, good for you. I salute you. I will keep up the good work. Yeah, I'm wearing red today. So maybe they're trying to code that biblical stories in Santa Claus is really code for this process. They're just reaching, Joel. Maybe the Vedas or the yogis would have better information. Sandra can only listen. Sandra is here listening. She's happy that I remembered. There is a boring Oregon. I've been there. You're welcome for doing this research. In the Vedic culture, says Prashni, it's called Amrit. It is when the moon is in your sun sign. And if we're going to do, I'm already negotiating. If we're going to do it both Western and Eastern, I say it's only during the time that it's actually in the moon. I'm working it. No, Joel, it's 4 days times 2. 8 days. 100 days a year. You don't understand my attraction to a certain little young lady in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. They say that when the moon passes the nakshatra, your sun is in, it has a burning effect, and we're advised to eat rice as it has a cooling effect. I like that, Prashni. If you want to send me some information on that, go to my website, jeffreydarty.com, or go to serpentanddove.org, or go to rawreflections.org and send it to myself or Sandra. I have a daughter named Sandra, so every now and then I slip up. But if you want to send it to Sandra and I, and you could send it to Sandra too. I don't know if she'd read it, but you can send it to Sandra and I, and it'll be great. WM says that she's abstained for 3 months and could sense it as well. That's interesting. I don't think they are, Jackie. So on top of 8 days a month, then you have to do the 5 days a month. Wow, that's true. So now we're up to 13. That's half a month, 6 months a year. I'm out. There's got to be a way to work this. That is almost 3 months out of the year. Craziness, but there may be something really powerful here, and maybe you alternate months or something, or you do it quarterly. I don't know. Maybe not everybody has my problems, and I'll tell you what, I got some good problems. With problems like these, life is good. So I'm not sure how Sandra feels about that. The biblical correlations are completely bogus, wishful, and horribly shoddy scholarship. However, the reality of this possible transformational alchemical process and the combination with sacred sexuality is fascinating to me. And I look forward to exploring it, learning about it, and exploring it with my partner in this life and in this work, Sandra. And we will keep you posted. So there you go. That's what I have to say about that. And I'm telling you, folks, couple days a week podcast, We are going to have some amazing content from you, for you, and hopefully from you. Sacred Sexuality, PSN, Psychopath, Sociopath, Narcissist Recovery, both physically and spiritually, Entity Cleansing. Thank you for saying that Jeff looks great nowadays. It's so cool. He's happy. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And we're going to have just the most tremendous content coming out. If you saw Serpent and Dove last night, you can see, wow, this is special. This is why twin flames come together. This is why sacred sexuality happens, because of the explosive, incredible creation that takes place. And it's not just about babies. It's creating refreshment and joy and peace and consecration and rejuvenation to the planet and to every species that is upon it. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. This is New Cosmic Knowledge. Jeff, it's actually around 2 days a month. The moon stays in one nakshatra for around 2 days. Your sun sign is just one part of 2.5 stars in a zodiac sign. Right, there's 27 nakshatras. So, Prashni, what I hear you telling me is that if you wanted to do it, if you wanted to abstain according to Vedic or Eastern astrology, you could abstain for 2 days a month. And then if you were moved to abstain also during Western astrology, and you think you would just to test it out, right? Now you're talking about 4 days a month. Depending on how that falls with our rather intricate scheduling, which will be family scheduling here by the end of July as we're moving in together. You know what, Prashni, you've given me hope. Prashni, you've given me great peace. I love hanging around with smart people, and Prashni Naidu is one of those smart people. And cousin, I promise you, so is Sandra D. I'm not doing dry fasting, Ava. I'm drinking water. And like today, I'm in day 9. Sorry, I got a little off track. I'm in day 9. And I got really hungry. I think I felt my first real hunger pang, maybe of my entire life. My stomach kind of clenched a little bit, like it was cramping. And I felt really, really hungry. So I drank a protein drink. And now I feel good again. So I think I'm going to make it to 14 days. But I'm in 9. This one's licked, so we'll at least go 10. I think I'm going to go 14. And amazing things are happening in my body. Amazing things are happening in my spirituality. And amazing things are happening in my life. I've never been so happy. And the good news about this is I'm living happily ever after today. I have a video, HERT, or happily ever after today. It is a process that is identifiable, duplicatable, and repeatable for anybody. You can be where I am, and it'd be my honor and my pleasure to help you get there. So keep asking questions, keep questioning answers. Remember you're divine, you're sovereign, and you're free. And keep taking the steps one foot after the other, and you will unindoctrinate yourself.